What's up guys, welcome back to the channel. Today is the day we are going to install this 32-inch LED light bar on the truck. If you remember, we're going to take the two lights that are currently up there in the front, we're going to get those out of the way, we're going to put this bad boy on, and let's see what it looks like. Alright guys, first things first. So here are the old wires right here, and what we're looking at is we got one line here that goes back through to this side, okay, and they brought in the second light that comes down through here and it ties into this main line here. Okay, this is the one that runs back up into the box up on top and ties into the switch, the auxiliary switch. All right guys, took off the lights that were originally up in the front. All right, obviously they come with their wire, right, positive and negative, that ties into the wire that's coming in from the fuse box up in the front. Now this is the wire that's coming up from the fuse box in the front. It is tied into the auxiliary switches in my truck. We're going to utilize this exact same one. It's already got power, it's got everything like that. Now with that being said, don't forget, okay, you need to make sure that there's no power to this when you start cutting and working on this. Nobody needs to get shocked. So what we're going to do next is we're going to pull the light bar out, all right, and then we're going to get all the components together and see where we're going to mount it. All right, if you guys remember, there's two holes. There's one right here and there's one right here. I don't know if the LED is going to actually fit there, so let's find that out. So just as I expected, there's the hole right there, okay, and then there's the bracket. It's just a mock right now, so it's not exactly installed on the light bar. If you can see where the hole is right there for the new bracket, there's a hole for the old light, right? If we go to the other side, you got the same issue. There's the hole, and then there's a bracket. So what does that mean? We are gonna have to get a little crazy and start drilling some holes on the bumper so that we can mount this on. So the work just kind of got a little more complicated, but it's all right. We can do this. We will take it one step at a time. We need to do some measuring and find out where we're gonna mount it. All right guys, so we just got done drilling our pilot. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna increase the drill bit size and we're gonna go ahead and drill a bigger hole, obviously. Little tip, make sure you use some WD-40 or something just to kind of lubricate, as it's metal and metal, it's gonna get hot. This will help make things go a little bit smoother and prevent a little bit of that wear and tear that you're gonna put on the bit. So here we go. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to take the piece of wire that was provided to us, right? We can call it the pigtail for now. And what this is going to do, remember, this is the male end that's going to connect into the light bar, right? It's already got its own wire at the female end. We'll connect this to it. On this side, all you have is your positive and your negative wire, right? These two wires here are going to connect into our wire that goes to our auxiliary switches in the truck. So pretty simple. I'm going to go ahead and hook these up, and in the process we'll kind of go back and forth and show you what we're doing. So here we go. So one of the first things you want to do whenever you're cutting these wires, or any kind of wire, what you want to do is you don't want to cut too much off, right? You don't want to leave a bunch of bare wire exposed. What I'd like to do typically is I'll probably take about 1/8 of an inch off. Nothing too crazy. Now these are little cheap Harbor Freight wire strippers. You can get different ones that are really nice, quick, simple, and easy, but you know what, we're just using what we got, right, and learning in the process. So here we go. That's kind of what you want right there. Hope you guys can see. I know that's really bright in the background, but that's about what you want right there, and that's good. So now I got both of them done. As you can see, more or less they're about the same. They're pretty even. Obviously one wire is longer than the other, but that's not too bad. That's exactly what you want, right? You don't want too much exposed, because when you get ready to go hook everything together, you're gonna have to use tape, or you can just start all over again, right? And that's okay too, as long as you have enough wire. But sometimes you'll get into some situations where you don't have enough wire and now you're stuck. So with that being said, I think we're good here, and we'll start the next process. the way we're going to connect this stuff is going to be with a butt connector. All right, I like using these. They're pretty simple. You put the wire in there, you crimp it down, and then you do a quick little test, try to pull it out, see if it comes out right. I like these. Some people like soldering. There's nothing wrong with soldering. Soldering is actually really great, and it has a really good solid connection. I think the only thing about soldering is, like, you got to get the heating gun, you got to get the solder, and then depending on the situation that you're in, where you're at matters, right? If you're under a truck, or in this case, you know, I'm in the front of the truck, but if you're under a truck, you have the potential of burning yourself, right? You're gonna have that solder that possibly hit your hand or something like that. So anyway, I like these. I use them all the time. They work. I've never had any issues with them, so that's what we're gonna use today. This shrink wrap right here is really great. It'll get good insulation around the wire. That way you don't have any kind of moisture or any kind of water that goes in there, as long as you do a good job. Sometimes things happen, they don't get a good seal, and you might get a little bit of water in there, but we're gonna do the best that we can today to get a good seal, and I'll show you how we do that. All right, so what you're gonna wanna do is when you take this, right, and you're gonna put it inside, you're gonna go all the way until it stops, right? So there it is. We're right where we need to be. Then you're gonna get a set of crimpers. These right here, as you can see, that's got red, blue, and yellow. All right, we're using the blue butt. So what you're gonna do, we'll reset these. All you have to do is set this in place, right where the blue's gonna be. Alright, and then all you have to do is just squeeze it in. Very simple. Tug, you're good. As you can tell, see right here, there's no wire exposed. Nothing in the back that's exposed, nothing in that one that's exposed either. Plus, once we go ahead and we put the shrink tape on there, that'll make sure it seals that up. No issues. We can make sure that this is sealed up really good and hopefully never have issues with it. But other than that, they work great. I like them. We'll do the exact same thing to the other side. So we got our stuff done. Everything's crimped down, right? We've done our test. Look, we're pulled it, everything's good, right? So what I went ahead and I did was I made sure that I had my shrink wrap already put in there. Once my shrink wrap is in there, right, all I gotta do now is just slide it over, okay? And with the heat, and all I'm gonna use is a lighter. That's all I've got, that's what I'm gonna use. We put this in there as well. You just slide it right in there like that, okay? You've got the blue part nice and concealed, okay? And then all we're gonna do is we're gonna take the lighter and we'll get this to insulate. So as you're going, you don't want to stay in one spot for too long, okay? You want to make sure that you're kind of running it all alongside so that it gets a good seal all the way around. Also, be very careful not to burn the insulation on the wire. That would be bad. Okay, you can tell a big difference, right? It actually shrunk Everything's good. Now what I like to do is I go back through and I actually wrap tape around it. Electrical tape is good. Just put some tape on there just for a little extra protection. Doesn't hurt anything, and I think it'll make it look cleaner. Alright guys, now that we've got everything wired up, let's go ahead and mount the light bar and get ready to hook it up. Alright guys, so I went ahead and I ran the wire behind the grill here. Alright, so if you remember, this is the female end that is connected, goes through, connected to the light here. Alright, and then there's the male end right here, okay? That's what we just got done, finished wiring up to the switches. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and connect this together. Alright, you'll hear a click, which it did. That's good. We got a good connection. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and tuck this back there for now. What I'm going to do is I'll go back and make sure that everything is nice and clean in the back, so hopefully we don't get a lot of wires in the background, right? We don't want that. We want to make it look as clean as possible. So that's what's next. Alright guys, to recap, if you guys remember, right over here we had the old wire that came in into the two lights, right? That's no longer there. Additionally, if you can see, those are the holes from the original light. All right, there's that one right there, and then there is one more right there, okay? So I had to obviously move it. The light bar was way too wide, so I couldn't use the same holes. So there's the new one, all right? There's some of that WD-40 residue. All right, bolt it down. And then we got the other one right there. All right. Also, we went ahead and we took the wire. It's probably hard to see. You really can't tell where it is. Anyway, I tucked it back in there, put it behind the grill. I zip tied it to some good spots where it won't rub too bad, and also try to keep it clean. So let's take a look at the light. Here we are. It's all installed. One of the things, if you can tell, is I decided to put the bracket on the outside of the LED. One of the biggest reasons was it was a lot easier for me to drill, measure, and make sure that I got a good center on it. The outside right here, I could have just used the bolt there, right? Take the bar out, mount the brackets, and then just put the bar in, and then utilize that little bolt there to mount it on. I decided not to do that just in case I was off. I wanted to make sure I had a true and good measurement. I think it turned out pretty good. As you can see, it's all mounted up. Same thing on this side. I went ahead and I mounted it on the outside. Okay. Another thing that I noticed was, unfortunately, I couldn't bring the light bar all the way forward. There's the old existing hole that was on there. I tried my best to cover it up. Not bad. It stayed pretty clean. Looks pretty straight all the way across. That's part of the bracket. All right. But directly from the side here, obviously you can see the holes, right? Not too bad from the front. I think it looks great. Tonight we'll take it out and turn on the light and do a comparison. So there it is. Tucked everything away in the back. Yeah, it does go there through the grill, but it's not too bad. I can live with that. Right, it doesn't look too terrible. The good thing is you can't really see the wires. So the wires are nice and tucked in there. I don't know if you can tell, but they are back there. We just got it all nice and cleaned up. Trying to make it look as good as possible. So I like it. Let's see what it looks like tonight. All right, guys, so we finally got it done. I think it looks great. I don't know what you guys think. Please let me know. It turned out not as difficult, right? It was pretty simple. Obviously, I wasn't expecting to have to drill holes on the grill, but hey, it is what it is. We have to adapt and overcome, right? We just never know what we're going to run into. With that being said, we got it mounted on. We got it wired up. We mounted everything together. Tonight, I'll take it out so that you guys can take a look at it, see what you think. Right now, I'm going to go ahead and turn it on for you guys so you can kind of take a look and tell me what you think. It's probably really bright. I'm sorry. Probably not the best idea. Anyway, probably look a lot better tonight. We'll take a look at it. I'll take some pictures, do a before and after comparison, and go from there. What I want to do next is I want to show you guys the type of tools that I used to get this accomplished. So here are the old lights that we just took out. There they are. There's number 1 and number 2, and then of course this is just a box. The light bar has already been installed in the truck. All right, a little bit about the tools, right? So I just got a regular socket set. This is going to be metric and standard. This is a DeWalt brand, really good brand. It's been great, right? I think I used the 13 millimeter socket just to tighten up the bracket of the light bar when I was putting it on there. Obviously you got your drill here. Okay, this is great also for when you're using your drill bits. All right, when I was talking earlier about the pilot, right, it's the small one. You're going to use the small one to drill your first hole, right? It'll be a small one, and then you'll increase it to go to the bigger one. Now what I did in this situation is I also used the 12-step drill bit. All right, these are pretty awesome. They will drill all the way to that radius. All right, and I think that is 7/8. So this is a great tool. You're going to utilize that. Again, of course, like I mentioned, when you're using this stuff here, it's always good to use a WD-40, right? This is going to help you lubricate the surface of that metal to metal contact, okay? You don't want to wear your stuff out. It will get hot, and that is going to wear your tools out a lot faster. This actually helps quite a bit. WD-40, you got to love it. It's great. It's all purpose. Obviously electrical tape, right? We used electrical tape when we were wiring and getting all our stuff done. Got that accomplished with that. Again, opening wrench, 13 millimeter. Okay, needle nose pliers. This I really just used to cut the wires. It's got the little cutter right there, so we went ahead and cut the wires with that. Then we got our crimpers right here. Okay, remember it's all labeled. It's red, blue, and yellow depending on what kind of butts you're going to use. And then we had our heat shrink. Okay, this is the tape that we put over there, put the lighter to it, and then it shrunk, right, to get that good seal. This comes in all kinds of different types and sizes and colors depending on how you want to wire your setup. Zip ties, love zip ties. They are the best things since sliced bread. Love zip ties. You can use them for almost anything. Just be careful when you do cut these off, right? You don't want to have this dangling out after your work has been done. So make sure that when you cut it, you just be careful. Don't cut your fingers or anything like that. These can be very sharp once you cut these off. Multi-tool, all right, these are awesome. If you don't have any, I would say invest in them. So many different tools in here. I've had this one for the longest time. You got all kinds of stuff in here, all right, they're great. Make sure you get one. If you don't have one, get one. They work great with either a drill or an impact. All right, next we have the wiring kit. All right, this is pretty cheap. You can get this at Harbor Freight. That's where I got this one. They have them all over the place, and they got all the different accessories that you can use. Okay, so they got like the ring terminals, they got the butt connectors, they got the spade terminals, they got the ring terminals, female disconnector, male disconnector, cable clamps, you name it, it's in here. It's a great thing to have, right? Especially when you're doing wiring, right? Like us today with the light bar. And then last but not least, a cheap little lighter to do the job. That's all you need to put that right there. Guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope that you had a good educational experience. I hope to see you on the next round. And remember, we're gonna install these lights right here in the back of the truck. Hey, they still work. There's nothing wrong with them. Now we gotta move them to the back of the truck where I want them. Thanks for watching.